Okay, so here is the final chapter in our metadata adventure, keywords. Keywords and searching using metadata. And I put those two together because really once you get keywords into your images, then the real beauty of metadata becomes apparent. So I'm in a different catalog, a different computer right now because this has a whole bunch of stuff that I haven't keyworded. So I actually wanted to show you a little bit more about how that works and talk a little bit more about what keywords are. There's a few things that I have keyworded, so I'll just show you what that looks like. So keywording is over here. It's in the library module just above metadata. So here's our metadata that we looked at in the last video, and here is keywording. And keywords are any kind of text that you want to add to an image that will help you to know what that image is about, and ultimately that will help you to search for that image. Now, I'm behind on my keywording in this one because I like to try every week or so when I'm shooting to sit down and just keyword everything. It doesn't take that long, especially if you're methodical about it. But let me show you how the keywording works on this one. So I'm just in this first folder in 2020, which is January. Is that right? Yep. So I'm in January, and if I circle all of these, or if I just select all of these, you'll see that these are all the keywords that are applied to, this is a list of everything that's applied to all of these. Some of these have asterisks, some of them don't. The asterisk means that it's only applied to, it's applied not to all of them, but just to some of them. But there are a few things here that should be applied to everything. Birds is applied to everything. The other thing that could be applied to everything that I can go ahead and put in now and show you how that works would be California. And I can add that in as well. So if I go to any individual image, I'll just deselect. We'll pick this first one. You can see that it has these keywords: birds, California, Lagoon Valley Park, that's the location, Loggerhead Shrike, and Solano County. So I have this narrowing down of place, subject, etc., etc. Now I could put all sorts of other things in there as well. I don't put anything into keywords that I can find through the other metadata. So I don't put anything about how I shot it. I don't put anything about the name of it, or the color that I might have put on it, because that is all contained elsewhere in other metadata. So we'll see how that works in a minute. So the way I do this, you notice I started with all of them. Let's go to a folder that has no keywords so you can see it. We'll just go down to February and we'll go to birds here. And you can see if I select all of these have no keywords whatsoever. Nothing has been entered because Sarah has just not gotten around to it. Okay, so I'm going to scroll through. These are all birds, and these are all also in California. They're in various places, and hopefully, because it's been so long, I can remember where they are. But they're definitely all birds, so we can put birds in here. And notice if I've just used it, it's going to pop right up. The other thing, it's California. Now you don't have to put these in order. They're going to resort themselves later. So I have birds and California. Now I'm going to deselect so that I can start at the top and begin selecting them further. There was a trip that I took that was out at the Delta. We were all over the Delta, so I'm going to leave it that general because I don't remember all of the specific places. So I'm going to go ahead and go all the way down through this fabulous white-tailed kite and just call this Delta. And we'll start there. The rest of these, I believe these are from my backyard. Yep. So I just call those backyard. Let's see if I already have it. If it isn't, if I haven't ever used it before in this catalog, it won't show up, but it's really easy to just add it. Once I've used that, it will stay in there. These are all from Napa, and it's actually from Kennedy Park, I believe. So we'll call it Kennedy Park, and we won't worry about the counties yet. We'll have to look those up. Then once I do that, then I'm going to go in, and you might recognize this from one of the previous demos. This is a mockingbird, and even though these look really overexposed, they're actually good exposures from the fog. So I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to call this northern, and it doesn't look like I have northern mockingbird in here. I just have northern gannet. Now you can actually put whole phrases. I don't have to worry as I do in file naming about underscores. I can just put it in just like that. I usually don't bother with doing any I don't bother with doing any capitalization, but some people might like that. This is white-fronted geese. Don't worry if you don't know about what these are. I do. And it looks like they haven't been in here yet, but they are now. And now this will be fun because this is the northern mockingbird again. He goes all the way down to here. And what's nice is if I just hit in, it's going to pop up with the latest thing that was in. So it makes it really fast to do. After I go to him, I have a yellow-rumped warbler. Yellow-headed blackbird. No, yellow-rumped warbler. Okay, there we go. And then back to the mockingbird. And then these are actually multiple birds. And I might actually put more on there. These are brown-headed cowbirds, and it should be brown-headed cowbirds and starlings. But we'll call this, I think actually they're mostly brown-headed cowbirds. So we'll go ahead and do this. And whoop, brown. We don't have it in here. Headed cowbird. Isn't that quite a name? They're fabulous birds. And then I could also put flock, because these are all in flocks. I might put something about birds on wire, but we'll go ahead and leave that for now. And so we have lots of different things. And then this last one here on the delta, this is a white-tailed kite. And one of the other things I could start to do is things like raptor, since this is a particular type of bird. I don't always do that, but it's just the kind of things you can add in. This is a white-crowned sparrow. And that was in there. This is going to be a little bit slower. I'll just do a couple more and then we'll go back, because this is a lesser goldfinch. This is a housefinch. And those will all be ready for me as I go back. I'll go ahead and finish this off so we can do a full search on this. So remember, once I've done that, because I did it before, it's going to let me do lesser goldfinch, housefinch, and you can see how fast it gets if you're doing the same keywords. This is probably not in here, but we will do it. Red-winged blackbird, and this is a California gull, which I think is actually in here. Yep, there we go. California gull. Beautiful. That's excellent. And then the very last one in here is, Also red-winged blackbird. Very good. So easy as pie. So once I get all that in here, then I can begin to use my sorting data. Now I'm doing a really small sort. Imagine if you're looking through thousands and thousands of photos and you're trying to remember, you're trying to look at all the red-winged blackbirds and you're trying to look for red-winged blackbirds that were really good photos, that you marked as a good photo. So let's go ahead and play with that. We can start with the find. If it's not up here, go to library and click find, which will pull this search bar up at the top, which is really nice. I can hit text and it's already, oops, there we go. Come on. I'm going to hit text, it pulls it down, and I could choose different kinds of text, but in this case I'm going to choose keywords. That's the most common one. And I can say contains all or part, but I'm going to say contains all. And I'm going to just say red-winged blackbird. And you notice I didn't have to go very far. I could have just stopped there because the red wing got it. And there's all of the red-winged blackbirds in this file. If I wanted to narrow it down further, I could also go to attribute and I could click on red. It's already clicked there, and that narrows it down to the ones that are in that have already been selected in red. So you can see how it becomes really searchable. Now this is a small file. I know pretty much everything that's in here, but you can imagine how useful that could be. Now you can go to metadata, and this becomes, actually let's go ahead and take out our others. We want to just go back to nothing. We could search these all together, or we can search them more generally. So this has all this camera information, and it shows that these are all in 2020, but on some of my, sometimes I have as many as 3 or 4 or 5 years, so you can search within a year. You can search different cameras. This particular one again has 1 camera, but sometimes I have 2 or 3. Lenses and labels. So this gives me all sorts of different information. Now that's within this one file. Let's go into all of 2020 photos because we could search a little bit bigger. Let's go to attribute, metadata, and that's going to pull it up. And this one actually has a little bit more. There are 2 different cameras. There are, oh my goodness, all these different lenses and several different labels. So I could just go in and choose my 60 millimeter. And this is a close-up lens that I often use in the studio. Within that, I could go to my attribute. I could pick just the ones that I like that were taken with that particular lens, and so on and so forth. So becomes pretty cool. You can begin to narrow down and narrow down and narrow down. There's all sorts of things that are searchable that you can add and you can pull up. This becomes a really fun tool. Okay, I hope that gets you a little bit more excited about metadata, and that you'll be just adding those keywords as we go. Okay.